From right here, it looks really good. That was the old Ferguson rake. I can't remember the number series on that, but it's old Ferguson 3-point hitch PTO driven rake. I've been off work a couple of days. This is 80 inches is what that is, that aerator. I think a 3.5 inch spikes, 2-inch shaft, solid shaft all the way through. This turned out pretty good, I think. I have it painted up and completed. I probably ought to put a stand on the front of it so it'll be a little easier to hook up. I have not put the pins in this yet, but it turned out pretty good. This is another thing I made. This framework right here on this, the I-beam piece, it was straight. These pieces here were straight, and it looked kind of like a log splitter to start with. I found that at the scrapyard, and it already had this upright, the angle iron, like for a 3-point hitch, and it was already crossed out like this. I put this stuff on it, it didn't have the pins on it, but so I trimmed this thing down and made this so it would support this box. This is an old box, sheet metal box that they were getting rid of at work. It's solid. That's why it's over on its side and not standing up. It's because I don't want any water getting in it. But it's basically, if you hadn't already guessed what it is, it's a counterweight for a tractor, for a loader. I think it turned out pretty neat. It's just, I've just got some bolts bolting it in over here on the side, on this side to hold it in. I was going to weld it in around the bottom, but I decided not to. I think if somebody wants this, when I decide to get rid of it, it will be pretty easy to either fill with like sand or gravel or whatever, and then you can disconnect your top link and then just raise the lift, and it should pretty much so dump out or make it really easy to clean out if you want. The reason I'm saying that is because if you were to fill this thing full of cement or something like that or whatever you wanted, it's going to be heavy, which is the idea, and that's what you want, but it's also going to be hard to move around. You're pretty much so obligated to you're going to have to take your tractor back up somewhere in the woods or somewhere in the edge of a field or something and drop it and disconnect it. This way, you have the option of dumping it out. If I had it, I'd probably fill it full of cement and just let it go and be done with it. And, maybe bore a hole in the bottom of that thing so it could let water out so it wouldn't rust. Because even if you cement it, it's still going to take a little water. But it's pretty solid. It's very solid, and it'll make a great counterweight. And aerator, and the dog, she's got a scratch. And then plan on working on that maybe while I'm off. I got the starter. I'm getting a right good bit of stuff done. I got my tractor, my Massey Ferguson. I hauled it over to the dealer, had them work on it again. It needed something on the lift. I forget what it was. But this, like I say, this thing looked good from way up on the hill. And I don't know if I even have any pictures of this that I can put in here that are of what it was before I painted it. And yeah, I used a brush, and yes, I made my son paint most of it. And, it's just a hay rake. It was rusty. It's an old hay rake. It's broke up. It's been welded up. But it still rakes hay good. And anyway, yeah, I know too. This is not Massey Ferguson colors. But I think it turned out all right. I don't care too much about what color you paint it. At least it looks like something, Massey Ferguson International or whatever. And yeah, it does look good. I think yellow and red. The Massey rake, this rake should have just been red. I think it should maybe red and gray. Or maybe it was all gray. Heck, I can't remember. But I had to put these tires and wheels on it. But I got an old pinwheel rake, and I hope to use this one this year too. Some broken cultipacker rollers, a idler out of something like a 950 something, or some cat loader or something. It's a good idler, but See, then me and my dad, we were working on this one yesterday. I know I've got some pictures of this. I've actually got this one on YouTube already. This is the International 14, and yep, you guessed it. It's going to be red and yellow too, because you know why? Because I've got red and yellow paint, and yep, it's going to turn out good too, I think. I did a little bit of work on the hitch down here. I put this bottom piece on here to be able to hook up to it. I don't have a jack on it right now, but what I'm going to do, I think whatever went on it went right here in this hole. I'm not really going to put a jack to jack it up. What I'm going to make is a stand. I've got a piece of solid round stock that will fit right in that, and what I'm going to do is make a peg on it where all I got to do is pick it up and stand it down and set it on it. So it'll be up off the ground so I can back up to it, because I'm not going to pull it with the regular drawbar on the tractor. What I'll do is I'll back up with the drawbar that goes between the lift arms so I can pick it up. I can kick this rake out of gear while I go down the road with it. So, you know, it's got a little mechanism on that side over there that pulls the gear in and out. So you put it in and out of gear so it'll rake when you pull it, because it's ground driven off of the wheels. The little handle, of course, is broke off, and somebody put a pair of vice grips on there, and I weld a handle on it. I've got another one of these rakes, and I could take the handle off it, but I'll be honest with you, I'm just going to let that go, because all you got to do is just pry that back and lock it in so it don't come in gear. Now, hoping it don't do that, don't come in gear while I'm going down the road. But, I mean, it must have been okay, because somebody put a brand new wheel. I mean, that's a brand new wheel on this thing, and this wheel is good. It's not rusted out or anything. But I never ever understood that. Got these old killer tires on this thing. Of course, you know, it's ground driven, so it does. I guess if they were slick, you know, it wouldn't, you know, might not rake. But yeah, it's a nice rake. I hope to finish getting it painted tomorrow. Update status on the Mogator. Yeah, and it's a hodgepodge video right here, because going over everything here, rakes and all kinds of stuff. But this is I thought it was a Vanguard, but it's just an 18 twin. Vanguards are vertical, I think. And anyway, this one's got a 1-inch shaft on it, and we finally ended up finding some sleeves to step it up to 1 1/8 inches, so that it would use the right size pulley for that, for the torque converter, centrifugal clutch, whatever you want to call it, to work right. So, why do I have two engines? Also, this engine ran great, but when you would turn the throttle up to try to rev it up, it would just die out. This engine just looked rough, and that's why we chose to use this one. This engine was the industrial, heavier duty one, and we're like, well, okay, we'll use it. Well, my dad pulled a plug wire off of one side of this thing. I think it might have been this side, maybe, because it looks like that wasn't firing. But anyway, I was turning it after he pulled the head off, and I said, well, it's probably got a stuck valve, because when he pulled the plug wire off, it didn't make any difference in how it was running, so you'd think, well, it's got a stuck valve. I was turning the flywheel, and I was watching the valves. My dad was on the other side. He could see the piston. He's like, well, the rod's broke. It's a wonder, that the thing didn't grenade itself with the, it broke a connecting rod. I don't know where it's at. Broke it in a bunch of pieces. It's under there. There's the other piston and rod. But, it tore. It was all to pieces. So then we got this one running, and we're going to get it on there. Got rid of the old Onan, and then I had to make some mounts right there. I think that's already on the old video too. But anyway, I hope to get the parts in to get this thing out of here because we got other things we got to get in here and get to working on. So just figured I'd get a little video action there. I wanted to show you my race. Just old junk, but it does work. About all I can say about it. Like a video, like and subscribe.